Hey everyone, Nathan here again. I am glad to have a special guest today. Her name is Nadene Cherry. Nadene, great to see you again.
Great to see you.
I've been wanting to call you and ask you to do this for such a long time, but I'm glad we were able to connect last week and just get an idea of how things are going in the world. You've done really well for yourself, and that's what I want to talk about. When we met each other, you were an account manager, and I was supporting your role as an account manager. I was the sales guy in terms of an engineer. You were the account manager selling, but then you decided to go off and do your own thing. So I want to talk about that because it took guts. I got to tell you, during the pandemic, you left your job. You were highly successful. So what I'd like to know, and I'm sure what our viewers would like to know, is what made you decide to jump out of that role you were so comfortable with, get out of your comfort zone and do something completely new. So what's your story?
Hey everyone, thanks Nathan. My name is Nadene Cherry. I'm now a corporate speaker and meditation leader helping employees move from this stress, pressure, loneliness to more inner peace and ultimately outer performance. To answer your question, every one of us has this voice inside of our head that's softly guiding us to follow our heart, to listen to our gut. But over time, we cover it up and we oftentimes follow what our parents tell us what to do, the world tells us what to do, but that voice doesn't go away. It's always there. And so for me, I went into corporate America. I had a great, successful sales career. And it was when I discovered mindfulness and meditation out of a period of difficulty, personal challenge in my life, that things started to change. I found mindfulness and meditation, this practice of becoming more present, becoming still during meditation, getting quiet, calming down, and you start to notice things. You start to notice your thoughts, your feelings and emotions. You start to change your relationship to them, not necessarily make them go away, but decide what is true, what you wish to feed with your energy, what to let go of. And in my case, that stillness allowed me to get more clear into who I am, my authentic self, and start incorporating that more into work. And so when I started to do this, mind you, 4 years into my 18-year sales career, things started to change. I started to feel more like myself, and I started attracting more opportunities, relationships, and ultimately that same year, performance. I doubled my sales. That exact same year, I started practicing mindfulness and meditation. So I was like, whoa, I have to start sharing this with other people because certainly I can't be the only one feeling disconnected from myself and alone, working from home, isolated, and really wanting to bring more of who I truly was into the business because I felt like I was living a double life. One Nadene at home and one Nadene at work. And so I created a meditation community at my Fortune 500 tech company, started sharing it, and it kept growing. It kept growing and growing. And ultimately it came to that tipping point where that voice just kept getting louder and it was time. It was time for me to leave sales and take this show on the road. And now I guide for companies of all sizes, leading workshops, meditation series, Microsoft, Salesforce, Cisco, you name it, Logitech.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my journey so far.
That's amazing. Now, I was actually going to ask you whether the pandemic pushed you to basically go do your own thing. Is it safe to say that the pandemic kind of gave you that final push to say, this is what you need to do? There's a lot of people that can be helped.
It was a final confirmation. It wasn't a push. The confirmation was that people were feeling so much heaviness and didn't know what to do with it. Plus, the companies didn't know how to hold space for it. And so I remember being pregnant during the pandemic, sitting on my bathroom floor, trying to get away from my toddler, guiding a corporate meditation for 500 people, because there was just such a weight and people were looking to connect with one another. They felt so alone. And so it was confirmation that tools and services, connection like this was so needed. But I want to share about a point for anyone who is in corporate America who has a feeling that they want to do something else, but they feel overwhelmed with the idea of quitting their job, and giving up completely and then starting over. What if it doesn't work out? Here's my number one tip for you. Use your corporate job as your playground. Test your idea. No matter how weird, strange you think it is, start really small. I started with 3 people in a conference room talking about meditation, something that I thought maybe would think is weird, woo, hippie, crunchy granola. Today, the community's over 1,000 people. So you really never know until you try, and you don't have to give up your day job. You can do both, as I would say, do both.
That is unreal and amazing, and I'm happy for you. I really am. The fact that you've actually been able to make this bridge and cross over to that side. How has it been online? Because I feel like a lot of meditation is like you're physically in a room and you get the energy from the other people as well that's trying to find that inner peace. But you've done a great job doing this online. So has that been an interesting transition, and anything you've learned along the way, or has it been seamless?
Such a good question, because you would think, how in the world could you replicate that quality of presence, of connection with other people virtually? Is that weird? What do we do? Do we like sit there and close our eyes? Yeah, some people do. Believe it or not, the quality of intimacy and presence and connection in a virtual setting, I believe, can be stronger at times. In a community, I lead thousands of people at once. There are emojis, there are chatting in the chat going on, there's connections building. And what's so beautiful about it, Nathan, is that you have people in different countries that would never usually talk to one another, that have different roles, and now are meditating together. So it's remarkable the level of connection that is possible even in a virtual setting. I see it all the time.
That's interesting, because even in non-meditation, just for work, there's so many of these little add-ons that you don't really get, especially when you have 1,000 people.
And that's exactly right. And everyone is sharing not just, oh yes, I love this, but also, hey, have you heard of this quote or this book or this resource? And oh, I love what you said. And people are liking each other's feedback. And it's really turned into a safe, comfortable, accepting space where people show up. They take off their job title masks and they show up in that time that we have together as human beings instead of human doings. It's really special.
From a feedback perspective, like there are a lot of people that are repeat attendees, right? They come back. Mm-hmm. Why do they come back? Like, what are they feeling? I'm curious as to what their experience is, and as a result of going through the process you take them through.
Yeah, it's funny. We just did a whole video series of accompanying testimonials from the group, and I also did a survey, and I did a survey 50 people, and 100% of the 50 said, hey, this has a positive impact on my mental health. 95% said, this is a benefit that is keeping me here at this company.
Wow.
81% said, this is improving my job performance after one session. The folks keep coming back, and they tell me that I feel a difference when I skip a session. So they protect, one person said in a testimonial, I protect this time slot with my life because it's so critical that they practice. And that's how I feel when I don't practice meditation daily. I have a daily practice. It impacts how we show up in the world, how we feel about ourselves, and how we perform at work. So they can confidently say, I'm taking this time to do a practice in community with other coworkers that's proven to reduce my stress, improve my productivity, and ultimately help me solve problems and come up with better ideas. So trust me, it's okay. It's a good time investment, and that's why they continue coming back each time.
That's incredible. By the way, I think you like data because you memorize those numbers just like that. Yeah. I'm very much the same as well, especially when you get the great data like that.
It's great data. People want to know the facts. So I'd be happy to share and work with any of your teams. Doing a lot of fun things. I'm leading workshops. I have 8-week virtual programs. A lot of companies decide, hey, we want to do what your permission to pause workshop, which is about why we take a pause, and then the 8-week program and continue on. I just started a session called Micro Breaks, which is not meditation, but mindfulness practices with our eyes open for 20 minutes each week. That's been very popular for very large companies, but we could do it for small companies too. So the possibilities are endless. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Nadine. Thanks for being on the video for us, and I will share links to your business so people can interact with you directly. Thanks, Nadine.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And that's all, folks. Tune in next time. Cheers.